So after the previous episode destroyed everybody emotionally, both the audience and the characters, I assume we're going to continue on this sad wave until, you know, the final episode, or until the final moments of the final episode. We'll just have to see. And, well, we'll also have to see whether Kazuki and Rei are going to be performing to the satisfactory level that the Suwa family wants them to do, because that's the reason why they decided to... They were aiming for Miri in the first place, but, you know, Kyu-chan was out here getting them away from Miri before the Suwa family could do anything about it. I wonder if they are going to do that, or, you know, they're kind of sad. They're probably in like a sad state at some point, or, you know, they're probably just trying to do a lot of missions in order to distract themselves from Miri. But I do wonder if, like, they're going to perform a little bit worse than before because Miri's gone. We'll just have to see. And whether that's going to cause the Suwa family to, or at least, you know, get the Suwa family to get Ryo to be like, alright, I'm gonna get rid of this child now. Even though it's been separated from you, it's still tethered to this living world, so we need to cut that fucking line. I have an odd suspicion that this might be a tearjerker, and definitely not because I saw somebody's thumbnail and title in my recommendations, and also because somebody on my Patreon told me to not watch episode 11, to which I'm just like, what if I didn't watch episode 11? Like, what was gonna happen? Anyways, if you guys enjoyed the content, remember to leave this video a like and subscribe if you haven't, and if you didn't like the content, dislike the video and we'll be on our way. Let's get started. Playing video games. Game over. Dude, those are some big buns, dude. It's morning now. Next morning, yeah? Oh, they still got things that... I mean, they still have a room. Oh. And they're sending everything over. Is that a hippo? Oh. It's dusty in here. Got tears in my eyes because of it. Oh, he's sleeping with... Ah! And man, when Miri is, like, out of the scene, you see how, like, quiet their life is. Yeah, it's the whole feeling of, you don't know what you have until it's gone, but, you know, they've pretty much, I've already got that. But it's that feeling of, like, it's always so noisy, and you're just kind of like, man, sometimes you just wish that you have a little bit of peace and quiet, but now that Miri's gone, you know, perhaps that feeling of silence could be very eerie, very uncomfortable. Everyone will be hypocrites. No daddies, because they're not daddies. Ah! And doesn't even feel like cooking anymore? He's just buying junk food and choco rings. Well, you know. He's buying instant food and everything, like he doesn't want to. Alright. Alright, guys. He's just trying to mope, alright? Oh, they're watching kids' cartoon shows. And he just goes right back to smoking. That was so long ago, huh? There you go, how quiet it was. I forgot to talk about what Miri is thinking. Cause, like, you know, she got to her papas and she's just like, oh, my papas are great. Go back to your dad. Yeah. Oh, that's why he wanted. The whole family splitting. Is that him finally giving up his... Dude, with 4 broccolis? And 2 tomatoes? I wonder if, I mean, she'll probably start talking about her dad now that, you know, she's here, because she would talk about her mom when she's with her papa. Oh. Oh, you get this music box vibe and it's hitting me more than the other one. Hey, that's a small apartment. Kazuki just moves in. He's like, I didn't expect you guys to be moping this much. Ah, we haven't hit Christmas yet, huh? Hey, yo, how you get your hair like that, Misaki? You see it's fucking puffed up? There you go. When are they gonna come get me? What? Don't fucking lie to her. Yeah! You don't understand, child. Mushrooms are great! Get rid of the child! Uh-oh. On all your affairs. Is it Kazuki or we're gonna fight? Oh, is Ryo gonna cut? I'm doing you a favor by purging her out for you. It's just like what my dad did to me! Miri's in danger! Oh, my boy Ryo's coming in. Uh-oh. Better take the phone first. Oh, no. Man, just late just late at night. Gurusu. Quiet. Also, that's not how a silencer. Anyways, whatever. Misaki, no! Oh, shot her right in the stomach. Now tell me your last words. The job just needs to be done. He merely requires your death. Now tell me your last words, come on! I was thinking, is that gas right there? What is that? You're one of my target as well. Ooh. Anyways, that's not how a fucking anyways. You think Miri I need to hear her last words first. Oh. I forgot, Miri's a heavy sleeper. Oh, 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 oh. Look at her sleeping soundly, not even fucking noting anything. You are her parent now. You're her family. Oh, y'all better get out of here because it just looks like you killed her and just kidnapped her daughter. Ah, that's why it's like a cabin in the woods. He thought he was taking it in his own hands. He tried to do what was best. I took them. Oh, but she can't go to her Christmas party. In an orphanage. No, the only option is to wipe out the entire Suwa family. I really like the tear stream that came from Misaki. Warmth. I was thinking I'm like the warmth of people. You're wrong. Oh. Answer that question of, can we change? She woke up in a strange place. Yeah, I'm sorry, Miri. Your mom went out to get some milk. She'll be back in the next life. He's laying down the law. There's been a lot of piano versions of songs. 1 hour a day. Bearing the weight of your sin. Anyways, the thing that I was talking about, Misaki's tear streams, is like, I really like that because, you know, in anime, they tend to just make it a little comical, but also just the way that you see it sometimes, it's just kind of like always from like the outside of the eyes. You know, like, oh, tears, and then, you know, you blink and then the tears fall down like the side of your cheeks. So I really like that because she was also at an angle when she was, you know, crying. So like I really like that the tears are also coming from the inside of her eyes as well, and it just kind of just goes down wherever the feature of her face was. I really like that. And unfortunate for Misaki, but she already put her flag up yet last episode with her saying like, I'm going to die of cancer. Ryo's over here like, yeah, let me help you with that. Damn, dude, man really shot her, like, where did he shoot her? That's like such a fatal spot and she just dies. Obviously, her will to live wasn't that strong. I don't know, he shot her in the liver? I don't know what specific organs that you'd need to shoot, like, right in the abdomen. That would cause you to just, other than, you know, her bleeding out, but, like, I don't know about wounds. All I know is that we don't have silencers, we have suppressors, and that's not how they work, but... You know, I said, I was just like, you're still going to wake Miri up even if you're using a suppressor, but then I realized that she's such a heavy fucking sleeper that even when Kazuki shot his gun, which is probably was quite loud and like the neighbors probably heard it, but like she slept right through that. She was just like, oh god, this is fucking great, I'm having a great nap right now. Okay, alright, I'm done rambling and we're gonna get back to the center. Alright, so that was episode 11 of Buddy Daddies. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comments down below. You know that I always like talking to you guys. For me, I thought that this was a pretty nice episode that, you know, comes after the big fucking break that was episode 10. As I mentioned, you know, Misaki really out here putting a death flag on herself already. Like, oh, I'm gonna, you know, it's essentially the same as her. Well, I mean, she did say she was retired. Well, actually, she didn't say that she only had 2 days until retirement. But, yeah, she basically put that death flag on herself by saying that she was going to die, so... oh, there's that, and, I assume that Ryo had, more of a role, so he was going to come in and actually come for Miri. Just like how he's going to continue to come for Miri, and also Kazuki as well. Well, I mean, just to summarize everything, Rei and Kazuki, are now going to decide that they're finally going to be a real family. I guess. I mean, that's literally their journey to becoming a real family, and right now, they've taken that step, and I assume, they're gonna come after Ryo, and I would assume the entire Suo family, because even if they take out Ryo, like, his, Rei's dad is just going to be like, alright, let me just send out more men then. I'll do it myself, I don't know. But, okay. I feel very jumbled. I don't know where. I might as well just start at the beginning, which is with Rei and Kazuki's life without Miri. And of course, you get to hear that deafening silence. And of course, Kazuki had also mentioned that, where he's just like, wow, I never realized how quiet it is without Miri around. And I really like that, it's at first you're like, wow, it's very loud, and then you end up getting used to that loudness, and it's just kind of like, okay, it's just what kids do, they fucking scream everywhere. I don't know if I said it, but like, I think I've said it on my Discord, where I feel like Miri is such a 4-year-old, she's very much like a child, she's excitable, she tries to love everything, and she just keeps fucking screaming and yelling, and that's, if you've never been around kids, that's really how they are, and it's just constant yells. So I like that, they got used to that yelling, they got used to this big loud noise, and now Miri's gone, and they're just like, wow, this is a little too silent for me, and I feel a little uncomfortable by it. And so I really like that. And also, of course, we get to see Rei is out here gaming all night because he doesn't particularly have to wake up in order to, at the very least, take care of Miri, or, he's trying to be more active before the whole breakup. So, but other than that, he is actually going to sleep and all that. But we see Rei is out here gaming all night, and he goes to sleep in the morning and everything. And Kazuki, who usually likes to cook, doesn't really cook anymore, because for the most part, what's the point of cooking? He doesn't have Miri here anymore to appreciate his food. And, Rei is fine with eating junk food all day, so why the fuck not? So I like that, we see in his shopping cart is just a bunch of instant noodles, and he takes the choco rings as well, because, that's what he would buy for Miri. And and it's just so, they're kind of like continuing their routine, but it's more Miri focused, as they're slowly giving more and more things away from, giving more and more stuff, Miri stuff, to Misaki. They're losing more and more memories of her, and so it just feels like they're trying to keep it, prolong it as much as possible. So with them eating choco rings, with them watching a kids TV show, which I would assume they watched it with Miri. So like, even though Miri's not here, they're still out here watching it, and it's just very sad stuff, very sad stuff. Also, we've got this night scene with Rei about to take a smoke, because he was about to fall right back into his habit, and Kazuki comes out and is like, wow, I haven't seen you smoke in a while. And I like that Rei's like, well, you're the one who told me that you don't want to get a smell of smoke on Miri, which honestly is like the least of her concern. It's the secondhand smoke that's the issue. But I like that Rei was about to fall into his habit until Kazuki reminded him of the reason why he stopped smoking in the first place, which is such a it's such a nice thing in terms of like getting a kid and having to drop your old habits, because I remember when my dad told me he used to be a chain smoker, he used to smoke a lot, and he told me that by the time I was born, he decided that he was going to give up smoking, and that was it. He just gave it up. And for the longest time, when he told me that story, all I could think of was bullshit. But as I grow up and I learn, psychology and everything, it's truly is a big stepping point, especially when you get a kid, and you kind of make that choice of like, do I want to continue this bad habit or not? And if I do continue it, like, do I really want to fucking smoke around my kid? Even though it wasn't really Rei who wanted to stop smoking, you know, he ended up doing it anyways because of Miri, and I really like that. I really like that whole feeling of like Rei was about to relapse. Yeah, he was about to go right back into his little nicotine addiction before he got stopped. But it's also nice to see that scene in contrast to, not in contrast, but to see that scene, seeing that scene and then seeing the final scene with Rei being the person who says, no, we're not going to do any of this thing that you're saying. You know, which kind of makes me feel like it was Kazuki who was relapsing. You know, where he was basically about to do the same thing that he did after the death of his fiancée wife, and where he was going to run away. And he wasn't going, he was just gonna bury that problem. And so it looks like Kazuki was the one who was relapsing, and Rei, who's the person who was going to do that, but he ended up not. He goes and he tells Kazuki, he's like, hey, I've been running away all my life. Or at the very least, you know, he's taken, I'm everywhere again. Anyways, he's like, I know what it feels like. I've ran away from my dad, and maybe if I hadn't done any of this, you know, this wouldn't have had to happen. But because I ran away from him, I found the warmth of people's hands. And I found, I would, you know, again, like, Miri has shown Rei all these new discovery that he's never really known about himself before. For Rei to be able to take that lesson in, and for him to just be that voice of reason for Kazuki and say, hey, we have to protect her now. You know, because if we don't, who will? And also, like, you think you're gonna fucking make it up to her by just sticking her into some fucking orphanage? Talk about trauma for Miri. Like, Miri still has not real, you know, she's still very much a 4-year-old. Like, you guys are, she's doing a great job keeping herself out of sticky situations. But other than that one time when she was at the aquarium, but she's doing a great job of not realizing what the fuck's going on. And it's kind of interesting to see, like, how Miri would think as she grows older and as she has, her brain is matured and she's able to understand the things that her dad went through for her, and, you know, eventually understanding her mom's death and everything. Actually, speaking of relapsing, I think Rei kind of did that. So I don't know why I was saying that Rei didn't relapse. He technically kind of did, but he brought himself out because he was ready to go back to his dad and just take over the Suwa family business. You know, he was ready to part ways with Kazuki, you know, because he's already parted ways with Miri, so he might as well just part way with Kazuki as well. And, you know, the thing that really took him out of it was, like, the potential death of Miri, and that's when, you know, he's just like, okay, I can't handle this death. We must protect Miri at all costs. Anyways, moving over to Misaki and Miri, we see Misaki continuing to show that, you know, she's trying to learn from her mistakes. And as she said, I'll try to be the mom that you love. Because I would assume, because she says that, and then Miri, who doesn't understand it, she says, but I do love you. So, like, what do you mean you're trying to become the mother that I love? I already love you. And so, you know, it's that whole feeling of, like, Miri's a kid, she's not really understanding that, and Misaki knows that eventually when she has to reveal that Rei and Kazuki aren't going to come back into her life anymore, and, you know, with her saying, like, they're not your real papa, you know, that's not it, she knows that Miri will end up hating her. So that's why she's like, I'm gonna try harder to become the mother that you love. And it's just, dude, they're really fucking putting a lot of effort into Misaki, you know, with her showcasing the Hamburg steak came back and her saying, like, hey, I'm not doing the whole cheap stuff anymore, I'm gonna actually try and cook and improve, and you know, they showcase, like, her cuts and everything, and then you see, they show her mess in the kitchen, you know, she's trying real hard, and I like that Miri at first is just like, hey, this is different from the way that you make, and then she realized that, you know, her mom's trying hard, so she's like, okay, I like this. They were really going ham on these scenes with Misaki and Miri. Anyways, Ogino Ryo came and fucked shit up. He didn't get to hear Misaki's last words, which, you know, I think he would have enjoyed listening to Misaki's last words, but perhaps he'll get it from Kazuki. You know, perhaps he'll get it from Kazuki, and maybe they'll be able to showcase that feeling that Ryo wants, you know, or that he's been curious about, that he was telling Rei about it. The feeling of, what is it, like, your life flashing before your eyes, and, like, at that moment of death. what is your last words? So it'll be interesting to hear Ryo's last words, because I assume we're going to fucking kill him. He can't just kill Misaki and get away with this. I won't have it. He's put a death flag on himself the moment he decided to take Misaki's. How dare you? Anywho, heading over to Kyu-chan, or Q-taro. I like that, he's getting his little arc, I suppose, where he was looking at Kazuki, and Kazuki was just like, oh, just give me another job. Come on, I'll do anything. In order to take his mind off of Miri. But Kyu-chan was just like, I'm not comfortable giving you any of the jobs that I have right now. So here, have this money that you've been giving, that you were trying to give the Karen. It's now your saving account. Kyu-chan is this savings account. But with that, Kyu-chan says under his breath, I didn't realize that you were that attached to her. Which, come on, my guy. You were affected by her just by being with her for one day. So, like, imagine being with her for a whole fucking year. Just saying, Kyu-chan. But he had that. And then we go into after Misaki's death, and they're in his little log cabin and all, his little safety house. He goes and he apologizes to them, like, hey, I thought I was trying to take this into my own hands, and I thought that if I could just split you guys up, then that'll be it. But I underestimated your dad, Ray. So it's nice to see that even though he is the informant, there's some things that he doesn't have information on, and that is the veracity. I was gonna say velocity. Anyways, the ferocity of the Suwa family, even though they're split apart, we still gotta take care of them. So, fuck these fools, it's their fault. As Ogino Ryo said to Misaki, we don't hate you. We just need your death, that's all. I like that when Kyu-chan was apologizing for it being his fault and why Misaki's dead and all that. I like that Rei was the one who takes in that fault. He's been trying to take in the faults all this time. It's just like with his conversation with Kazuki later on, where, he's like, if maybe this all couldn't have happened if I hadn't ran away, and instead of, trying to fight my dad or whatever. But he goes and he says, I was the one who killed them, because he was the one who took the shot at Miri's dad, and because of his family, Misaki is dead. So he feels at fault for everything, He's like, I'm the one who fucking broke Miri's family up, so like, shit. But again, I like that he ends up becoming the voice of reason for Kazuki, and just knowing that, hey, I don't want any of this tragedy to happen ever again. I want to protect her, and by that, we're gonna have to take down Ryo. Like I said, man can't live. He can't just kill Misaki and live with it, alright? If he's alive by the end of this fucking anime, I'm gonna be pissed. and of course, he's the guy who keeps talking about last words and everything, so I assume we're going to hear what his last words are. Which, it'd be funny if his last words was just Subarashi. I don't know, like, people who are always like these, I kind of feels like once they're at Dev's door, I wonder if it's going to be that irony of, like, he's going to be the same as that old man that he killed in, like, episode 3 or 4 or something, after Rei and Kazuki failed the mission. It was episode 2, I think, in the after credit. I wonder if, like, out of irony's sake, that's how he would respond when he's at Dev's door. But we'll just have to see, we'll have to see how he really is, the true person within him. Anyways, I apologize for being everywhere, but great episode. Oh, I said it was a pretty nice episode. Whatever. If I have anything else to say, I will write it in the description down below. Thank you guys for sticking around, and I will see you guys in the next episode.